Welcome, everybody, to our session on introducing our co-curricular assessment champions. I am pleased to be joined by our former Student Affairs Assessment Work Group colleagues. We have been working for quite a few years, and I could not do this work without the essential collaboration of Connie Greenwell and Neill. And so as we jump into this session that talks about assessment that is going to be occurring outside of the classroom, I want to let Connie and Christine introduce themselves and tell you a little bit about their journey in the space of student affairs or co-curricular assessment. So, before that, I forgot, we have a little updated slide. If this is the first session that you are at, here's how you can have a stronger assessment day. So you will do your workout by attending one or more fall assessment day events. You will then lay on your yoga mat and you can meditate and you can reflect. And ultimately, you will complete the assessment day participation form when you are done with all of the activities you are choosing to participate in. And finally, you are going to refresh and be inspired, if you want, by earning a sticker or a magnet. These are fabulous designs created by our very own Karen Bird. And she has created these, and you can post to our Padlet in order to earn one of these stickers if you want to level it up and have an even stronger assessment day. All right, on that note, though, now I'm going to turn it over to who we are, and I am going to ask Connie to start and talk a little bit about her involvement in the Student Affairs Assessment Work Group and her involvement in general in assessing student learning in co-curricular and student affairs spaces.
I'm Connie, last name's Greenwell, heavily associated with student life. I would venture to say that for as long as I've been a student life director, we've assessed. And it's done at a district level, it's done at a local level. It's just something that we do because it provides a roadmap or a blueprint, whatever you want to call it, for where you're headed. Because you can make really good time in the wrong direction if you're not asking the right questions. And that's what assessment allows you to do. Why waste time, energy, resources, including money, people, in areas that, students may not be interested in. So that's what we do. We establish learning outcomes so that we can, do a pre and post and talk to them via survey to say, hey, what do you know about this? What do you want to know about it? What did you learn, if anything? So we've been doing that. I've been working at a campus level with assessment for, a couple of years, I think. And we formed a work group to talk about co-curricular assessment, because it's just as important to realize that learning occurs on every level. And you really need to figure out what you want them to learn. So that's something that we're doing so that we can roll it out so that our student groups can fall in line and start doing that, and even the various layers, and there's a lot of layers in student affairs to figure out where we're all headed. And if we can get there at the same time, wouldn't that be great? So that's where we're at. That's what we're doing. Am I supposed to kick it to Christine, or would you like to do that?
You go ahead and you kick it to Christine.
Okay, here's my amazing colleague on the Great Divide of student affairs. She's the other half. So, Christine.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for attending our session. Thank you, Connie. It's been such a pleasure working with the three of you with co-curricular assessment, and I know we're expanding our work group too, so I'm really excited about next steps. A little bit about my journey. Well, I've been part of CART since fall of 2021, and then the co-curricular assessment work group. We have laid some groundwork in our work, and I believe those are going to be in future slides, so I won't go into that right now. But my own personal journey, I've been working in student affairs since 2000. So, and I have done student learning outcomes assessment to some extent, but really not at the level of where I know we should be doing. So, and especially in the last 4 to 5 years, redesigning our services to align with the Guided Pathways framework and really thinking about, okay, are the redesigned services really meeting the outcomes that the intended outcomes? And made me think more about the importance of engaging in assessment practices. And so I did my dissertation on change management and assessment practices, really trying to do a deeper dive into that, the theory practice gap. So I'll be sharing that at the 2 o'clock session. So that's a plug. So I just, as far as, my role, I admittedly will share that I am not implementing assessment to the level, but I've learned so much, and I just look forward to being part of the team to help us lay out the foundation and increase that engagement and that partnership with faculty.
Thank you, Christine. So yes, we've been working together for a handful of years. There was sort of a larger group a little bit before us, and then we transitioned into this work group. We have helped design some data gathering surveys to understand what people in student affairs and throughout the institution know about assessment. We have also, Connie and Christine were instrumental in guiding their areas through the kind of service area review process that, where it's, again, a really reflective process where assessment data can be used in that process. And now we're really thinking through how do we, as we're coming out of a lot of change in a lot of spaces, pandemic and other things, how do we really move this co-curricular assessment work forward? So just a few things to kind of level set here. That, I'm wearing my Get Your Assess in Gear shirt. GEAR is an acronym. It stands for students come to us with a goal. They learn through engagement in our co-curricular programs and activities. They learn through academics, our courses and our academic programs, and then they can showcase all of that on their resume. So our GEAR acronym really acknowledges that learning's occurring in two critically important spaces, and we need both. And so it's important to know that our assessment team really does want to support the improvement of student learning in every space and place here on the college campus, whether that's physical spaces or whether that's virtual spaces. So to give a little bit of sort of context for this work, you may know and love our Higher Learning Commission accreditation guidelines. This is the section that is related specifically to assessment. This is criterion 4, specifically section 4B. And you'll notice that within this section, it calls out both academic assessment as well as co-curricular assessment. There's a focus on improving student learning and including relevant staff members in addition to faculty and instructional and other members of the community. Now, in terms of what HLC says is co-curricular, they define it as learning activities, programs, and experiences that reinforce the institution's mission and values and complement the formal curriculum. They give some examples that it might be service learning, it might be student clubs. So for example, Connie oversees all of our student clubs. One of our student clubs, the Psi Beta Honor Society Psychology Club, actually did an early iteration of our student organization assessment process that is going to be part of this work. But HLC goes on to say that although they've given a list of things it could be, that we are going to assess the learning that we claim in co-curricular spaces. So it is important for us to determine for ourselves, based on our mission, what we would say is co-curricular assessment. And then identifying what things may be extracurricular or outside of the relationship to our curriculum. So this summer, a number of us got together. This included the various deans, various vice presidents, and we thought through what might co-curricular assessment really look to us. And we also, this is one of the switches we made from calling it student affairs assessment to co-curricular assessment, because assessment here at GCC that's in this space is happening both within student affairs and academic affairs. So we have a working definition right now, and the goal is by the end of this semester to form a team of co-curricular assessment champions who will help guide this work and figure out what the best place to go. Obviously, I'm involved in this work. I love both academic assessment and co-curricular assessment, but I am not an expert in the co-curricular space. So I am looking to Connie and Christine and a team of people doing this work to really identify what we want in that space. So our working definition right now is an activity or an event with a structured curriculum. So what that means is there's many, many things happening all over our college, and we want to focus as a way of kind of narrowing down on those activities that have their own structure to them, their own learning outcomes, their own goals and objectives. And then we also need to be thinking through how this aligns either with course program or general education curriculum. So we do need to tie the work we're doing sort of outside of the classroom with what's happening inside that classroom. So this is what we are thinking about right now. And again, we are hoping to connect with various groups. So I think I saw, yes, that LaDonna was here. And so we are thinking about the honors program that she is currently leading as director. They have a co-curricular requirement. So this would be a perfect example of a partnership in this space. We've talked about Gaucho 101, the new student advising process, because there's a lot of structure to the way they do that work. STEM Connect. The Money Matters workshops. We've thought about career services and some of their courses and workshops, counseling, some of their workshops, potentially the library and their workshops. But a lot of what we are kind of here to maybe chat about in the next handful of minutes is, who might be interested in getting involved in this work early on and where we might see it going. So I have this adorable little dog wearing a little champion outfit. We thought about calling this group our Co-Curricular Assessment Champions, because these are people who really would be doing this work in the spaces they're in. It may be staff, it may be faculty, but in whatever space they're in, they're working in these co-curricular spaces. And we have thought about, how do we take that next step and put together a group to kind of identify what support is needed, what kind of documentation already exists, what kind of documentation might be good to create, and how do we do this in a way that really enhances all of the work that folks are doing. So on that note, I am going to throw it back to Connie and Christine to talk a little bit about any of their visions around co-curricular assessment champions, and then we can chat with those on the call if you have ideas or you think you might want to get involved in this work or where you might see yourself fitting in. Connie, Christine, thoughts to share?
The one you added a lot of the areas that we've talked about where we could see partnerships. The one thing I would add to that is the work that we're doing, the collaborative work that we're doing with advisors and faculty in the FOIs. So I could see each FOI looking at what are some common SLOs and doing some collaborative work around that. So that's an exciting opportunity to explore.
Can you expand a little bit more on that? What types of learning outcomes do you see occurring within the fields of interest?
I could see, since we're really reinforcing the curriculum and looking at, especially with advisors, the educational planning piece of it and connecting their curriculum to preparation for the workforce and, success in careers. I really see, I don't have specific learning outcomes, but it'd be around that. And so where advisors and faculty within a specific FOI talk about what are those reinforcing learning outcomes that are voice specific, but I would say that are aligned with that, because that's what we're reinforcing in our advising sessions.
That's fabulous. Connie, your thoughts?
I think that for us, specifically, you know, I can't speak for my sister institutions. I don't know what their rebound looks like. It's more than rebound, it's rebuilding. And I don't know what your classrooms are like, but I can tell you that this is a very different group. And for me, I would really like to see them to come back up to the level of pre-pandemic proficiency that they were at. We're like at ground zero, only they're a little bit older, but they're new to an environment. And I would like for them to be able to assess where they're currently at and what their vision of what it is that they want to do. And I'm talking about the students in general and the club dynamic. It is, it's almost like I would like for them to do vision boards, but I would like for them to do a group vision board. What do you envision for the future? Because we've got, I mean, it's very exciting. We have some groups that are back and they're big. And it hasn't been that way for some time. But I've also got some groups that are rebuilding, that feel that any kind of structure is outside anything that they should need to do. So I think that we're going to have to teach them some things. And I think that establishing, like I said, where they're at and where they're going, I think is cool. I'm looking forward to getting this introduced on the club level, to where they can start assessing whether they do a formal plan or not. I want them to start looking at what they're doing and what they want to do and lay that out. It's hard. And one of the things that I do with them is a budget process where they submit requests for money. And in order to do that, they have to lay out their year. So that's some planning. And it needs to be where they want to go and what they want to do. And we'll try to help them achieve those goals, because really that's what we're doing. We have always been, how do we get to yes? So Tiffany's message of yes, and we really try to do that, because I mean, they come up with some stuff that's just fabulous, but yeah, there's just a way that we have to figure out how to make it happen. Like I said, I think it's an innovative, it's new, it's really exciting. It's tiring. I'm not going to lie. But it's nice to see that the interest is here. Big time. Now let's assess it and put our resources where they could best be put to use. I mean, that's really what I'm after, because we may increase engagement. They don't increase my resources to make that happen. So we have to figure out how we can do it. So I would love to do that. Oh, honors is wonderful.
Yes. Well,
Yeah.
and what I like what I'm hearing from both Christine and Connie is this is the heart of assessment, right? It's identifying where is there some sort of opportunity that we can step into to ensure that students are getting the maximum experience that we want them to get.
Yeah.
And so we're not just looking at where are they doing well. The focus is on where's that area of growth and how do we investigate that? And one of the things I liked in particular that Connie talked about is, so within our assessment structure, we have 3 goals: knowledge of assessment, equity in assessment, and action from assessment. And part of that equity piece is including the student voice in the work we do. So the student voice isn't just they are the subject of the assessment, but to Connie's point, it's having them involved in all parts of the assessment. It's going to the student organizations and saying, what are your learning goals? How are you meeting those learning goals? How could we help you meet those learning goals in a more effective way? So it's really having those conversations with students, with faculty and staff to kind of co-create the experience for our students. So that's what gets me really excited about this work. Yeah, I don't know, LaDonna, did you want to jump in terms of the honors space at all? I see there's some things happening in the chat around how kind of the honors co-curricular piece fits into this work, or can fit into this work.
Yeah, I mean, I think honors naturally fits in because we have co-curriculars and the students do assignments around those co-curriculars and they are graded. And we're using them to do some assessment of honors program outcomes. So I think that it's a natural fit for honors to be involved. And I'm looking forward to being a champion, having a name. That'd be cool. But my one question is, so if we're champions, do we get like music? We are the champions every meeting? How does that work?
You know what? I can absolutely get you whatever music you want. I can make you special stickers. Karen, make a note. We need some co-curricular stickers next.
So I think that would be great.
Absolutely.
And medals. I like the medals idea. But right. Anyway.
Well, and I like this space again because it's a nice collaboration between faculty and staff. And again, I think what we're hearing from LaDonna fits really this idea of co-curricular, where our focus is going to start on these structured processes. There's a lot we could assess, and we want to be mindful of bandwidth of ourselves, of students, of this process. And we can then identify, where is this work happening already? And it's a matter of simply capturing the work and showcasing the work that's already being done. Well, on that note, these sessions fly by. Hopefully you feel like it has flown by. So we are at the end of this session. I am putting into chat 3 links. One is to our full Gaucho Fall Assessment Day page, lots of great information there. One is the participation form that when you are done participating in all of the events associated with Assessment Day that you are doing, you want to fill out that form, give us a little feedback, tell us what you learned, and get a emailed certificate. And then if you do want to level up to get, right now, these are Fall Assessment Day stickers, but maybe co-curricular stickers will be coming and magnets, then you can fill out the Padlet to make your assessment even stronger and see if you can earn one of these little prizes to showcase to students and to other faculty and staff your involvement in this work. And on that note, those of you who are here, you may be hearing from us later as we continue to recruit our co-curricular assessment champions. And again, I can't say how excited I am to get to stay in this work with fabulous people like Connie and Christine and many others as we explore how to make our assessment outside the classroom even stronger.